Hi, this is Anna from Fingerprint dance, and we're going to be together for the next half an hour or so for some gentle guided movement. Welcome. So before we start, I'm just going to make sure that we have a comfortable, safe space to move in. So if you can stretch your arms out to the side and in front and behind and do a kind of swivel. If you're not knocking into anything while you're doing this, you should be fine. Also, if you reach up above you, because we will be extending our arms up as much as we feel comfortable with, and out to the side and down below. Great. Also, if you can just stretch your legs out in different directions, to the front, to the side. And this is the same whether you're standing or seated. If you've got space around you, and you're not knocking into anything, then that's really great. I'm going to be moving between standing and seated, and we're going to adapt everything that we're doing so that you're able to take part in every single thing comfortably, whether you're chair-based or you're on your feet. So if you are in a chair, depends what kind of chair you're in. If you're in a chair with open sides, this gives you a nice amount of free movement, but it does offer you slightly less support. So if you are shifting or rocking from side to side and your chair doesn't have any arms, then just be extra careful that you're not going to tip over. If your chair has got sides, then it might be that you adapt the chair-based movement to use the arms. So it might be that you can push against, if we're doing a stretch, push against the arms of the chair or the wheelchair, or hold onto them to roll down and back up again. So using your chair rather than fighting it. Great. And also, we're just going to have a quick word about where you are in your body today and where you are in your mind emotionally. Just take care of yourself. If you're feeling a bit tired and a bit achy in your joints, and just dial it down, make the movements quieter, and just keep them very gentle. So if I've got my arms out here, and it's more comfortable for you to keep your arms close to your body, and you do a little finger dance instead of dancing with your arms. That's beautiful, really lovely. Great. And also if you're feeling a little bit low in spirits, in mood today, and you want to just listen to the music, listen to my voice, then you can come back to a relaxed position, either seated or standing, with your hands over your centre, just breathing into your hands, eyes closed or half closed, and just listening to the music and my voice, and then rejoining us when you feel ready. That's fine. Okay, great, let's get started with warming up. I'm going to start standing up. I will move to sitting, but you will either be in one or the other state. Great. Okay. So we're going to think about the line that goes from the top of our head to our tailbone. Imagine if we had a tail. Let's actually think about giving ourselves a magical tail actually for the minute. So we're going to just rub our hands together to build a little bit of warmth, charge them with a bit of electricity. And we're going to take these warm hands and we're going to just place them on the small of your back, right down here in the point of the spine that we call the coccyx, right down in the lumbar region or below the lumbar region. It's right down at the bottom. Imagine that if you had a tail, that's where the tail would be. And let's just imagine, take your arms away and imagine that you have got a tail and how it's moving. If you're seated in a chair, perhaps it's swishing from side to side, but really kind of thinking about that point in the bottom of your spine, in the bottom of your back. Lovely. And we're going to call that point in your back the South Pole. If you think about the Earth point that's right down at the bottom is called the South Pole, and the part right at the top is called the North Pole. And the North Pole in our body today, when we're warming up, is we're going to think about it being the top of our head, the crown of our head. As if we were a king or a queen, we've got a crown up here on the top of our heads. So this is the North and this is the South. And everything in between is affected by these 2 points. So we're going to just think about moving those 2 points. And imagine the line in space that we're making as we're moving. Great. Sometimes the line might curve, sometimes it might be a straight line. And if you think about the line that you're moving in between the top of your head and the bottom of your back, the North and South Pole, that is all of your spine, all of your vertebrae that run all the way through the centre of your back and then support, like they're holding, cradling your skull. Lovely. So we have those 2 points. Let's just pause them for a minute, and now we're going to add in our fingers. Let's rub our hands together again just to set them in our minds. Fingertips, like you're sprinkling fairy dust, or petals on the ground, or sand, making a sand picture. And you're going to think about those pads at the end of your fingers reaching out into space, really stretching as far as is comfortable for you. It might be that it's just a little stretch, stretching out through your fingers, stretch, 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 stretch. I'm going to go really as wide as my arms can get, stretching through and into your fingertips. Lovely, well done. In different directions. Imagine that you're inside a big ball and you're just trying to reach. You can't quite reach the edges of the ball with your fingers. Great. I'm going to move to sitting down now to carry on with the warm up, but you stay standing if you are standing. I'm going to join those of us who are seated. So just to recap, we've got the North and the South Pole through the back, through the crown of your head, and where your tail, your imaginary tiger tail comes out of. And you have the pads of your fingertips just moving through space. Lovely. Very good. Well done. And you've probably guessed what's coming next. We're going to add in 2 more points, our feet. So it's nice to work with your feet when you're sitting down, slightly harder if you're standing. If you feel like you're a little bit wobbly with your balance, you might want to go and just press pause, go and fetch a chair, or move next to something that you can hold on to just to give you a bit more stability to stretch your legs out. And the bottoms of each toe are a little bit like your fingertips. They're very sensitive. If you think about cats and dogs and how they use their paws in different ways, sensing the ground that they're walking on. And now we're going to just finish off by bringing all of those different points together. So remember, we did the rippling through the spine from the North Pole of the top of your head through to the bottom of your back. And keep that going this time. We're going to add in the arms, all the fingers. So rippling, curling, stretching, reaching out, and then let's add in the feet. Great, well done. Feels a bit like I'm swimming underwater, especially with the music. Stretching and rippling. Let's imagine we're deep sea divers, but magically we can breathe underwater, so we haven't got heavy tanks or things on our faces. We're just in the water, separating the seaweed, swimming with the seals, under the sea, with lovely shafts of sunlight striking down through the surface of the water. Lovely, good. Let's just bring that a little bit quieter. Quieter. Well done. Before we go into our creative dance, I'd like you to go and find something in the house or in your room that you can hold comfortably in your hand. Well done. We're going to move on. Welcome back. So, we're going to crack on with our creative dance, and we're going to use an object that we can hold comfortably in the palm of our hands. If you haven't had a chance to find one yet, just press pause for a moment, go and find an object. It could be a natural object, it could be something that you think is beautiful, it could be something that was a present or a souvenir. Great. Well done. So I'm going to describe and share with you what I've chosen, which is a stone, quite a small stone, from my local beach in Dorset. It will be going back onto the beach where it belongs. I've just borrowed it. And it's a lovely colour. It's sort of different colours. It's grey and cream and sort of sandy colours. And it's a nice shape. It's not a round circle. It's quite uneven. I'm going to bring it a little bit closer so you can see it. It's a little bit like a small bread roll almost. And it's got a texture to it where it has little holes, but it's also smooth. We know that if rocks and stones or glass, all sorts of things, if they're in the sea for a long time, as this was, with the tides and the waves pulling and pushing all the rocks and pebbles under the sea, all the different objects, then it often makes them nice and smooth. So here's my stone. It makes me think of the day that I collected it on a walk with my family, and perhaps it also makes me think of the day when I might take it back. Where might I put it on the beach? Which beach might I choose? So I'd love you now to share with me what object you've chosen. How heavy is it in your hand, or light? You just explore all the different parts of that object. How does it feel? What colour is it? Or colours? Very often things don't just have one colour, especially if it is natural. What does it make you think of? Did someone give it to you as a present, or is it something that you like to look at? Or is it a souvenir? Or is it something that you use every day? Maybe you've chosen something from your kitchen, or dressing table, or drawer. So let's think about how we're going to move. How are we going to dance with this object? Well, we're going to take it in one hand, and we're going to imagine that that object is having a conversation with your hand. What are they saying to each other? How does the object want to be moved? How does your hand want to move it? Maybe it swaps over to the other hand. while you're moving, you're going to imagine that your object is really heavy. It's much heavier than it actually is normally. Suddenly it's very heavy. How does that change how you're moving? While I'm moving, I'm going to change to join everybody that's sitting down. You can stay standing. It's heavy. Still a conversation between your hand and the object, but it's very heavy. Maybe it's so heavy that you need to use both arms to move it in space. And now you're going to imagine that it's really light, much lighter than it is in real life. Light as a feather, almost like it's filled up with air. And if you let go, it could almost float off up to the sky. Really light. Moving through space. Almost like it's got an invisible pair of wings. Good. Bringing it back close to your body comfortably. And now you're going to think about, imagine that you're surrounded by all your friends and family. Let's think all the people you've ever met are all around you. And your object is so special, it's so beautiful that you want to show it off and present it to everybody. Not just the people in front of you, but maybe the people behind you. How do you hold it? This really, really special, fantastic object. Very proud of it. And then we're going to change that to it being a secret. This is something that you want to keep to yourself. You don't want all those people to see it. You want to keep it just for you. Shh. Hiding it away. And the last thing we're going to do, the last ingredient for our dance, our creative dance, is we're going to choose somewhere where we're going to place it. I'm going to put mine in the corner of the radiator. That's its special place. Where's your special place for your object? Somewhere where it isn't normally. Good, we're going to put all of that into a dance. I'm going to come back up to standing, but you may stay seated. And we're going to start by going to collect our object. We're going to remember how it feels to be heavy while it has a conversation with our hands, and then it's going to be light. And then we're going to share it with everyone around us, then we're going to hold it close as a secret. And then we're going to finish our dance by putting it back where it began. Okay. Are we ready? Sitting or standing nice and tall, remembering the North and South Pole and our fingers and toes and all the space in between, moving and working for us as we dance. Off we go, collecting your object. And it being heavy. You can swap over which hand it's in. And then being light. And then sharing it with everyone around you. Presenting it, this beautiful, special object. Everyone behind you. And then it's going to be a secret just for you. And then we're going to move back to carefully placing the object back in its special place. And having a look. Well done. Now we're going to move on to cooling down to end today's session. Right, let's move on to the final part of today's session. Just relaxing, saying thank you to your body and preparing ourselves for the rest of the day. So either seated or standing. You're going to, if you're standing, you're going to be working through shifting weight through the soles of your feet. If you're seated, you can actually work through two different points. You can work, I'm going to come to seated, and I'll stay seated for the rest of the cool down, but you may adapt this if you're still standing up. If you're seated, you're going to be shifting your weight across what we call your sits bones, which are the two bones you can feel when you're sitting down that are doing the job that your feet do when you're standing. So you can shift your weight around your sits bones and also through your feet, the weight of your legs. So let's just concentrate on that for a moment. So you're going to breathing in and a nice deep breath out and another nice deep breath in and out. And we'll keep those slightly deeper than normal breaths as we're going through our cool down. Just exploring, shifting weight, perhaps thinking about being back in the sea with the seaweed and the seals, and it's a calm sea, but even though it's a calm sea, the seaweed is being moved by the current. It's not just being moved backwards and forwards, it's being moved from side to side. Any little gentle changes in the movement of the waves change the direction that the seaweed's moving in. And if you're seated, using your feet as well. So just shifting weight. Okay. Let's just come back up to being still in the centre, and we'll let the sea just melt away. And we're going to roll our shoulders, rolling them back. Click, click, crunch, usually with shoulders. I'm going to just say thank you to your shoulders and your arms for working hard today. For the last 20 minutes or so of the session, rolling your shoulders, just settling them back into place. Good, and let's just take your arms out to the side, and you're going to close them in front of you and give yourself a hug. And then open them out. And then closing the space in front of you, give yourself a hug. and then opening them out and settling them back down. Let's just raise one arm up and push the air away. Imagine that you're in the middle of a lovely big white soft fluffy cloud and you're just cutting through it with your hands. But almost as soon as your hands have cut through it, it just comes back together. Settling both hands down. So standing or seated, you're going to just use the support of your hands on your legs to just roll down, curling through the spine. Remembering the North and the South Pole, the curves that we found through our spine, through our back, in between. Lovely. And again, rolling down. If you're standing, this might take a little bit longer. Just do it in your own time. And rolling down. And back up again. And let's just finish with our hands over our centre, either side of our tummy button, our navel. Breathing into the palms of our hands. Imagining that we're filling a balloon full of clean air when we breathe in and letting it all out when we breathe out. And out. One more time. Nice big breath. And out again. Just rest your arms down in your lap or down by your sides. Thank you for dancing with me today. Stay safe and well. I'll see you next time.